wanted to go ahead and bring this to your attention, though. This NBC could give third hour of nightly primetime back to local affiliates. Now, this is kind of a deal here because I think it kind of represents the kind of industry's move, at least in the TV space or the linear space, to kind of draw back from it a little bit. And I thought this was a great juxtaposition between NBC, what NBC is doing, and maybe what David Zaslav and the others are doing over there at Warner Brothers Discovery, because Warner Brothers Discovery, at least to hear them on their quarterly earnings calls recently, it's very interesting. There was an enhanced emphasis placed on linear distribution, right? They, and naturally so. I mean, David Zaslav, he's a TV guy. That's where he comes from. So he's got that kind of TV bias, right? That TV mindset that, hey, there's still gas left in the tank. We can still, take this car on the road. It'll get to our destination. And hey, will it? Again, we'll have to see whether it does. I think a lot of people are kind of criticizing, Zaslav and Warner Brothers maybe a little bit too harshly. I understand he's done a lot of let's say unfavorable things, right? I think all of us can say that, me included. Like I said, I'd like to see, maybe some movement on the Ezra Miller thing, but that's a whole nother discussion. Anyway, he's done things that somebody likes out there, whether it be people within the industry, fans, that kind of thing. But again, this is kind of a new kind of venture for Discovery, right? This kind of new entity. We'll have to see what the fruits of all these changes are going forward. But we did hear from Zaslav and others during their last quarterly earnings call that there was going to be more emphasis placed on linear television, and now you see like NBC kind of pulling from that. So it's kind of a good juxtaposition of styles that I kind of wanted to bring to your attention. We have seen, by the way, too, Disney and ABC, right? They kind of pulled back a little bit. We've heard talk that maybe Disney kind of get out of the television game, maybe sell off, some of its, I think, stations or affiliates or whatever, just kind of, get out while these things might still be profitable, while people might still want to buy them. And it's a very surprising thing because, these have kind of been, in as far as revenue generators, they've meant big money for these companies, and yet we're seeing maybe a pullback on that as people to kind of continue to cut the cord, and kind of rightfully so. I'm kind of one of those people who understand, right, the idea of maybe getting out of linear and maybe putting your efforts towards DTC and other kind of distribution channels. Maybe not all at once, but slowly. And so I think NBC here, I think they kind of see that that writing on the wall too. It's interesting. This kind of goes into a little bit. Reducing the commitment to broadcast primetime hours would ease financial pressure on NBC Universal in terms of funding a linear lineup at a time when viewership and pay TV subscription levels continue to decline. That's very, very true. A lot of people have been cutting the cord lately, to reiterate to you. And so it's honestly it's not too surprising. I was actually taken aback at Zaslav's comments because what he indicated was a completely, I don't know. It seemed in opposition to the kind of changing mindset, regarding linear television and so forth, and so to see this, I think it's one of those things that kind of reflects the changing times, and it's why I'm bringing it up even in the first place, because I think you're going to see a lot of changes in this space and other spaces as we move on here. It's a fascinating thing. The other thing I wanted to go ahead and bring to your attention real fast here is they do put an emphasis on sports here. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah. Here we go. Live sports and non-scripted fare has begun dominating the grid, given the difficulty of launching and sustaining popular shows, chiefly based on their popularity on linear TV. And that's exactly what we've been seeing here, for sure. Reality television and so forth, I think, has been, it's. I think it has the audience that kind of drives repeat viewership in the way that these executives want. But live sports, huge deal. In fact, we actually just had a conversation with Sean of Ranking the Mouse very recently, and after that show, we were talking about kind of live sports and so forth, and actually, I believe he may have actually referenced it on the show itself, where between baseball, football, and basketball, especially, basketball is kind of a growing enterprise for Disney and others, but it just brings in all kinds of ad revenue. And this article actually does go on to say that, they've been working out new contracts to have some of that move on to streaming itself. But I think you're going to see maybe these kind of these networks kind of lean into the live sports and these reality television shows, at least for the remaining future. I really don't see that changing. And by the time it does, maybe TV is going to be in a very different spot, and maybe the priority from these companies will shift regarding TV and specifically that ad revenue. Understand too that also goes, that also has connections to what Bob Chapek himself is trying to doing with the ad based tier of Disney Plus, right? I think maybe, some advertisers might be pulling their ads from TV, putting them on to some of these, ad based subscription services. So that too might be a very interesting thing. It might be also why some of these TV networks are kind of maybe pulling their content off of these linear platforms. It's a very interesting time, folks. There's a lot of kind of moving parts here. It's it's taken all I had to keep up with it myself, but hopefully I can go ahead and do that with at least with the ability to relate it to you folks at home. So a very fascinating thing, very interesting times, and just something I wanted to go ahead and bring up.